and welcome to the Lenovo Work Reborn podcast, where we explore how technology, AI, and cybersecurity are reshaping the way we work. This segment of our tour, we are back at it again, live in London, interviewing top IT leaders. Each episode, we're going to bring you insights from real leaders and industry experts on how organizations can navigate today's challenges and unlock tomorrow's opportunities. From making sense of complex data, to simplifying IT environments, to delivering real business outcomes, Lenovo is helping businesses of every size reimagine what's possible. Join us as we dive into the future of work. Work Reborn. Let's go. Hi, my name is Rita. Welcome to the Work Reborn podcast. We are live in London, and we're so excited to bring you a new guest today. Would you mind introducing yourself, who you are, and what you do?
Thank you for having me on. My name is Dave Lewis, a Global Advisory CISO at 1Password, and I've been doing security now for about 31 years.
So you are an ideal guest to have on the show as a CISO. You're a senior tech leader. Recently, we did a Work Reborn report where we interviewed over 600 senior IT leaders. We talked about topics regarding cybersecurity, AI, and so much more. And we had some findings from the report that I think we're going to have a little bit of a discussion about today. So I pulled a fun fact from our deck here.
Sounds good.
And let's get into it. So, all right. So according to our report, we found that nearly half of our senior IT leaders said that they are using AI extensively, but in endpoint security, while adoption was much lower for other areas like data protection and vulnerability analysis. Why do you think some areas of this AI, security usage are further ahead than others?
Well, we're really at that point where it's a mad gold rush at this point, where everybody is trying to do AI for everything. Unfortunately, from a security perspective, we've gotten ahead of our skis in a lot of ways, in that generative AI led the charge. When we had ChatGPT come on the scene, it was really a catalytic event that got people to pay attention. Yes, it's an LLM, but it really did start that conversation going. And looking back when AI was given birth in 1954 till now, it was a slow build, but it was a consistent build. And now the acceleration has been absolutely dramatic. Now, security really has fallen by the waysides in a lot of ways. And this is why we're seeing it playing catch up in many regards. So having security baked into various tools isn't really been the thing to a great extent, but I am seeing that shift happening. So it's now a case of, how do we do security for AI and do it in an effective manner? Because if you're looking at it from an agentic perspective, most agents on the scale of 1 to 5 are at best level 2, where they're like semi-aware as opposed to autonomous. When we get to semi-autonomous at level 4 and then fully autonomous at 5, I think it'll be years before we get to fully autonomous, where you're having agents that are making decisions on your behalf. So we still have time to make sure that we catch up with security and bake that into the equation. Because if you look back to the internet, when the internet was born, security was never part of the equation.
It was the Wild West.
It was absolutely the Wild West. And that's the craziest piece of it. But we see this behavior over and over again. We see cloud, we see Bluetooth. Security came later. And while security is relatively close behind at this point, there's still enough of a gap because the rate of change is so quick that we're still seeing an appreciable gap. So I believe that we are going to get to that better place, and we need to get there faster rather than taking our time. But one of the things I find, especially across the DACH region, is that AI governance is a real problem, that they don't know how to get their arms around it. We've had security governance for all sorts of parts of the business, but when it comes to artificial intelligence, we're playing catch up in a lot of ways. The only outlier I've seen, quite literally, was in Ireland. And in Ireland, they are very, very well advanced on AI governance. Yes, it was a bit of an anomaly that threw me for a loop.
Tell me about that.
I did a CISO dinner with a bunch of them, actually just a few days ago in Dublin. And I brought up the topic, and I was stunned of the 14 people at the table. Every one of them had a game plan. They had the accomplishments they had hit. And I asked them, I said, how is it that you're so different from these other regions? And they said, oh, it's because we're an island.
We're an island.
And I said, okay, fair enough. I guess that works.
No, but that is interesting to hear from different leaders and understand what they're doing and try to fill the gaps, because I agree with you. I mean, it is a risk, and it needs to be it needs to be kind of a forefront of everybody's mind sooner than later. Because unlike, Bluetooth, I mean, AI will have, there's other risk factors involved. What's something that keeps you up at night in your own organization with that?
My own organization is just like any other company, is just trying to keep up with the rate of change.
Mhm.
And like we're in a really good position that we're tackling security for AI for our customers as well as internally facing. We're doing all sorts of AI projects. Like my own team, we have a responsibility for doing AI research. And the thing I love about it is not so much that it keeps me up night in a bad way. It keeps me up in a night in a good way, in that I look back to the earlier part of my career where I was always excited to learn new things.
Wow.
And that has come full circle where I feel like a kid again in a lot of ways, because every day is a new challenge. And most of them are good challenges. And it's really fun in that regard. So I can see the allure of it. I can see the value impact that can be had from AI, but I can also see the blast radius that can occur if things can and do go wrong. Unfortunately, with any new technology, we're going to make mistakes. There's going to be missteps. And especially as we lean more towards agents that are doing autonomous decision making, that's where I get a little bit concerned, because the agents are, we got to stop anthropomorphizing them. We have to understand that they are doing exactly what they're asked to do. The results may differ from what we had impressioned as it would be doing.
Mm.
And this is where the fall down can happen for us on a collective basis.
In general, where do you think the workplace is going? We have a tagline, bringing new life to the modern workplace, work being reborn. Maybe for your own organization, what do you project maybe that looking like within the next few years?
Well, we're a bit of an anomaly because we're a company that's 100% remote.
Oh, wow.
And it's been very effective for us, and we've been around for just over 20 years. So it's interesting to see us in comparison to other organizations where we see a lot of companies that are bringing people back into the workplace. And, I do have a position that I think that a lot of that is because a lot of these companies had to pay leases on multi-year leases on buildings and things like that. So they have to justify the spend, and I get that. I understand that. But we saw over the course of the pandemic that remote work can and is effective. And we did see productivity levels in many companies go up. But, in certain cases, obviously there was institutional maturity issues that it didn't work out. But I think that from where things are going, it's just empowering the end user to be able to do things in an effective manner. You don't want to give them tools written by engineers for engineers. You want to give them something that works. So if the security can be seamless and is going to be effective, then I think that's going to improve things to the point where it doesn't matter where you're physically located. If you're in an office, great. You have that human interaction, which is absolutely essential. If you're a remote office, figuring out how to communicate with folks, either by offsites or by virtual meetings, whatever is going to be most effective for your organization. And the thing is, there's no one size fits all. And we have to understand that the flexibility of having that for remote workers as well as on-premise workers is that the old ways of doing things, of being chained to your desk with enough slack to make it to the coffee machine, really is a deprecated notion.
What do you think will happen to organizations who are just not accepting of this change, of this understanding that everyone does work differently and they will work more productively if there's more flexibility and, of course, security in place to foster that kind of motivation?
Well, we've heard of buggy whip companies. They're not around anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, if you don't adapt, there is that real possibility that you'll get left behind. Your competitors will happily eat your lunch for you if you leave it on the table unattended. And so, these organizations do have to learn how to adapt, because change is inevitable. And, just because we have thumbs, opposable thumbs that is, doesn't necessarily mean we're forward thinking. So the ones that do learn how to adapt, know how to be effective in executing as an organization, they'll be successful. The ones that are like, well, we've always done it this way and this is how we're going to stay doing, they will get run over, and it won't be pretty.
I mean, to that effect, I'm sure there are concerns from even within IT and cyber security that, we'll keep doing what we've been doing, but we're not introducing AI to the mix because it's absolutely not secure and there's no way to secure it.
Well, that's not going to work out for them.
Okay.
I remember one CISO, when I had one of these dinners in Vienna, said that we've closed the door to AI projects, but they keep coming through the window. And that's the reality of it, is AI is heavily interwoven into all of these organizations. And it's a bit of a naive principle to think that, they can keep AI out of their environments. And
It's like
It-
shadow AI is a problem.
Shadow AI is absolutely a problem. And I don't mean shadow AI or even shadow IT in a negative context. It's
Right.
just people need to try and get their jobs done. And they're looking for ways to do this. And so they may see that they don't have support in order to execute, hence shadow IT. Same principle for shadow AI. And there are some people that don't like those terms, but the thing is, people understand the terms when you say them. And if it's something that resonates and something that is going to be getting the message across, I don't see the detriment there. Just understanding that shadow AI and shadow IT are not done out of malice.
Right.
They're quite literally done because somebody's trying to get their job done. They're told to innovate. They're told to, build the airplane while it's already in flight. We have to figure out ways to empower them.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for this insightful conversation. I really enjoyed it. If anyone is interested in learning more about the findings of our latest Work Reborn report, make sure you check it out. Download it via the link in the QR code on the screen somewhere here or in the show notes below. And we appreciate your time. That's a wrap. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to the Lenovo Work Reborn podcast. To learn more about how Lenovo is helping organizations transform with AI, cybersecurity, and smarter IT solutions, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next conversation. And also, we'd love to hear from you. Make sure to leave a comment with any other questions that you would like us to discuss on our next episodes. See you next time.
Lenovo.